They say stones don't speak. But what if I told you? The ancient stones of Jerusalem are shouting a warning. Beneath centuries of dust and silence lies a gate, sealed, motionless, yet roaring with prophecy. This isn't just any gate. This is the Golden Gate, the very passage believed to be the one through which the Messiah will return. And for over 500 years, it has remained shut, sealed by empires, guarded by graves, surrounded by mystery. But what if it's not just sealed by men? What if something spiritual, something unseen, is holding it shut until an appointed hour? In this video, we go beyond headlines, beyond archaeology. We step into the invisible war playing out on this sacred threshold. You'll discover why this gate has become ground zero in the battle between darkness and light, and how your life may be more connected to this prophecy than you ever imagined. So don't scroll. Don't click away. What you're about to hear is not just history. It's a divine mystery still unfolding. And it might just awaken something deep in your soul. Let's begin. To understand why the Golden Gate is still sealed, we must first look back, not just decades, but centuries. Located on the eastern wall of Jerusalem's Old City, the Golden Gate, also called the Gate of Mercy, has been a site of intense mystery, spiritual significance, and conflict. This is the only gate in Jerusalem that leads directly to the Temple Mount, the most contested piece of land in religious history. According to Jewish tradition, the Messiah will enter Jerusalem through this very gate. Ezekiel 44:1-2 speaks of a gate that shall remain shut because the Lord, the God of Israel, has entered through it. Muslim rulers, aware of this prophecy, took measures in the 16th century to prevent its fulfillment. In 1541, Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent ordered the gate to be sealed. And to further hinder any messianic arrival, they placed an Islamic cemetery in front of it, based on the belief that a Jewish priest, a Cohen, would not defile himself by crossing graves. Was this political? Perhaps. Strategic? Absolutely. But was it also spiritual? Yes. Because ever since it was sealed, Jerusalem has remained in constant tension, a place where prophecy meets resistance and heaven confronts history. The sealing of the Golden Gate was more than architecture. It was an attempt to pause a divine timeline, to interrupt a destiny written by the hand of God. And yet, the prophecy remains. The gate still waits. Still closed, still watching. Even now, visitors from around the world come and stand before it. Some weep, some pray, some stare in silence. Why? Because whether they realize it or not, they are standing in front of something more than stone and mortar. They are standing at a threshold of eternity. And here's the haunting question. If men tried so hard to seal this gate, what exactly are they so afraid of? The sealing of the Golden Gate was not just a political decision. It was a prophetic disruption. And behind every prophetic disruption is a spiritual resistance. What many fail to understand is that every stone in Jerusalem echoes with layers of warfare. Some seen, most unseen. This is not just a geopolitical hotspot. It's a battleground between realms. And the Golden Gate stands at the very heart of it. The moment you trace your eyes over its sealed arches, you begin to feel it. A strange, pressing stillness. It's as if time itself has stopped there, waiting for something or someone. Scripture reveals that the Messiah will return in glory and enter through this gate. That's why it's sealed. That's why it's guarded by graves. Not because men fear a myth, but because spirits fear a moment. a divine appointment they can't stop, only delay. What you see on the surface, walls, bricks, tourists, is only a shadow of what's taking place in the spirit realm. There are ancient principalities at war around that gate. Forces that once worked through empires, now operating through ideologies, systems, and silence. Why has no government reopened it? Why has no army destroyed it? Because even they, perhaps unknowingly, are restrained by something bigger, something invisible. The Bible tells us in Ephesians 6:12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." And nowhere is that more tangible than at the Golden Gate. It is as if God has placed an invisible barrier, not just of stone, but of time. No man can open what he has shut. No power can delay what he has ordained. Yet the enemy keeps trying. Through desecration, through distraction, through deception, and maybe through our own ignorance. Because the moment we forget the gate exists, we forget what it represents. The return of the King. You see, the gate isn't just a physical entrance. It's a symbol of divine entry, a reminder that history is heading somewhere, and someone is coming through that door. That is why hell is so desperate to keep it shut. Not with bricks, but with blindness, with spiritual sleep, and with apathy. The real war is not around the gate. It's within us. Will we stay awake? Will we see beyond the stone? Or will we, like many, walk past it and never realize we were standing at the edge of eternity? When the Ottoman Empire sealed the Golden Gate in 1541, they didn't stop at bricks and mortar. They took one step further. They planted the dead in front of it. A Muslim cemetery was established just outside the eastern wall, directly in front of the sealed gateway. To the casual eye, it seems random, perhaps a matter of space or custom. But in truth, it was a spiritual strategy, intentional, calculated, and rooted in ancient understanding. According to Jewish law, a priest, called a Kohen, must not come into contact with the dead, lest he become ceremonially unclean. The Messiah, believed by Jews to be of priestly, or at least holy lineage, would not, according to tradition, be able to pass through a graveyard without defilement. So by placing tombs before the Golden Gate, the enemy thought they could create a spiritual blockade. It wasn't just about stone. It was about spiritual legality, about disqualification, about delay. But what they didn't realize is that the Messiah who is coming is not just priest. He is king. He is God in the flesh. And no tomb can defile the one who conquered the grave. The irony is almost prophetic. The enemy used death to try and stop the Prince of Life. But every grave dug in front of that gate is a silent confession. They know he's coming. Why build a blockade if the prophecy were empty? Why guard a gate if the one who opens it isn't real? Whether knowingly or unknowingly, they have confirmed what they tried to deny, that the return is real and the gate matters. And there's more. In ancient warfare, cemeteries were sometimes used to curse or mark territory. By defiling the land, they believed they could possess it spiritually. But God is not intimidated by death. He speaks through it. He overrules it. He transforms graves into gardens. And one day that gate will open, and the very graves meant to stop him will tremble in his presence. Because when the true King returns, every stone will cry out, and every tomb will be silenced. The Golden Gate doesn't fear the graveyard. The graveyard fears the gate. For over 480 years, the Golden Gate has remained sealed, silent, motionless, defiant. But something is shifting. In recent years, quiet tremors in the spiritual and political atmosphere suggest that this ancient gate may not remain closed forever. And it's not just the eyes of believers watching, it's the world. One of the clearest signs is the growing global obsession with Jerusalem. Nations debate over it. Religions converge upon it. Prophets warn about it. The Bible foretold in Zechariah 12:3 that in the last days, Jerusalem will become a burdensome stone for all people. That's not poetic, it's current events. Every peace deal, every conflict, every march toward the Temple Mount stirs the dust before the Golden Gate. But it doesn't end there. Archaeological discoveries near the gate have increased. Ancient tunnels, buried artifacts, hidden pathways, almost as if the earth itself is preparing the way. Even some secular voices have begun asking, why is this gate sealed? Why has no one reopened it? What's waiting behind it? These questions echo louder than we expect. Another sign, the rising call for the rebuilding of the Third Temple. Though controversial, this movement is growing. Blueprints have been drafted. Priestly garments have been prepared. Red heifers are being bred in Israel for ritual purification. All of these point to a future moment. And guess which gate leads directly to the Temple Mount? That's right, the Golden Gate. Still closed, still watching. Even the atmosphere seems to respond. In times of heightened tension in Israel, prayers intensify near that gate. Some believers report dreams, visions, urgings, as if the Spirit is whispering, get ready, watch, stay awake, because what once seemed far away is suddenly near. Revelation 22:12 says, behold, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to each person according to what they have done. The sealed gate is not forgotten. It's not irrelevant. It's a countdown clock made of stone, and it may be closer to opening than we think. But here's the mystery. It won't be opened by man. No bulldozer, no army, no politician. When it opens, it will be by the authority of heaven alone. And when it does, nothing will ever be the same. The gate has waited. The earth has groaned. And now, creation is beginning to hold its breath. Because soon, the cry will go out. Lift up your heads, O gates. Be lifted up, you ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. The Golden Gate is not just a wall of stone. It's a mirror, a symbol, a silent teacher. Because while we've been staring at its sealed archways, we've missed the deeper truth. Many of us have gates in our own hearts that are just as closed. Places we've walled off, areas we've declared untouchable, rooms where we've told God, you can come this far, but no further. And like the ancient gate in Jerusalem, our reasons might seem logical. We seal ourselves out of fear, out of past wounds, out of protection. We build cemeteries of regret in front of our promises. We hide behind walls of control, hoping to keep the pain out. But in doing so, we also lock out the King. Psalm 24:7 says, lift up your heads, O you gates. Be lifted up, you ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. That isn't just about a city. It's about you. You are a gate. Your life, your heart, your destiny. And just like Jerusalem, you were designed for the King to enter. But he doesn't force his way in. He waits. He knocks. He calls. And sometimes, like the Golden Gate, we ignore him for years. We cover our sensitivity with layers of doubt. We bury our calling beneath distractions and disappointments. We leave ourselves sealed, spiritually asleep, while eternity presses against the edges of our lives. But listen, the time is coming when you can't afford to be sealed anymore. The enemy knows that if the gate of your heart ever opens, if the king ever steps into your pain, your fear, your purpose, everything changes. That's why hell fights so hard to keep you shut down, to surround you with the graves of shame, to whisper that you're too far gone. But the gate is still there, still holy, still waiting, and Jesus is still calling. He doesn't need a perfect heart, just an open one, just a lifted gate, just a whisper that says, "Come in." Because when he does, the same power that will one day break through the eastern gate will break through you. Walls will fall, graves will empty, purpose will rise, and what was once sealed by pain will be opened by glory. Don't wait for stones to cry out in your place. Don't let your heart be harder than the gate. Let today be the moment you say, "Lord, enter in. I am the gate, and you are the glory." The golden gate stands in silence, but its message roars across time. Prophecy is not forgotten, and heaven keeps its promises. What man sealed, God will open. What the enemy tried to block, the King will reclaim. And the gate, though silent, is not asleep. Neither are you. You were born in this generation for a reason. You're not watching history. You're part of it. Every sealed place in your life is a canvas for redemption. Every wound, a future testimony. The same Jesus who will return through that eastern gate longs to enter through the gate of your heart today. So don't wait. Don't let fear keep you shut. Don't let shame keep you sealed. Lift up your head, lift up your gates, and let the King of Glory come in. Pray, watch, live ready. Because soon, very soon, the trumpet will sound, and what was sealed for centuries will burst open in majesty. And when that day comes, may your heart not be found closed. If this word stirred something in you, leave a comment below. Tell us what gate you're ready to open. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss what God is unfolding next. The gate is still sealed, but not for long.